I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its third year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Good morning. This is Friday, and that's why I'm here, and I'm saying that because some of you might have been confused because I was on the Billy Jones talk radio show just the other day, but I'm back in the Welfare Rights slot today. And so if you were looking for the usual Friday broadcast of Ask Welfare Rights, you've been successful. My name is Maureen Taylor, and I work with the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization. Of course, as always, if you're interested in calling in and sharing a thought or correcting something or offering some information, you can call us. The station numbers are on the screen, area code 313-868-4336 or area code 313-868-0351 or area code 313-868-0342. Now, of course, if you're on the website, let me find that right quick. My engineer brought me what I needed in case my nose starts to run, and of course it is. If you're looking for the website, you know how to call or not call, but to get online at www.tv33whpr.com. I joke about this all the time, but if you have one of those old television sets in your basement and you've got one of those wire coat hangers, you could put that coat hanger on the back of that TV and hit it and kick that TV a couple of times, and it'll pop right on at 15.2. You could watch us there. And we're on Comcast, channel 90. And I think, I'm not sure if they figured it out yet, if you don't pay your Comcast bill, sometimes you can get us on channel 91. So those are all of the different ways that you can find us, and I hope you do. Got some memory items to share with folks today because this is the Memorial Day weekend. And, of course, this particular slot of holidays is really dedicated towards soldiers who may have been killed in action. But this holiday has morphed into something else now, and all of us are able to call up the memories of folks that we may have lost. And so I have a few pieces of memorabilia that I'm going to share. Before I do that, though, I want to bring you up to date on some activities that are not memories that haven't happened yet. And one of those is the commercial that you just saw with Treasurer Sabri. I went to a wonderful event last week where this was the third awakening, I guess I'll call it, of monies that are available for folks who are behind on a mortgage, behind on rent, behind on land contract payments, behind on a light, gas, and water bill, and if your internet is cut off because you couldn't pay it. This program called MIHAF, M-I-H-A-F, and that stands for M-I, Michigan, H stands for housing, A stands for assisting. Is it housing? Yeah, Housing Assistance Fund, F-U-N-D, 313-388-9799, 313-388-9799. Now, the MyHouse program and Treasurer Sabri and Welfare Rights. We've been talking about this program for months, and they had $19 million to help in terms of if you're behind, households that are behind in any of those areas, and that's in Wayne County. They had started off with $19 million. They've got $12 million left. So there's $7 million yet to be spent. And those dollars have to be spent by September. How crazy is this for folks not to access assistance? At least fill out the application so at least you can try to get assistance. And folks are not doing it, reluctant. And then, of course, at the last minute, we're going to start to get calls down at Welfare Rights, and people are going to say, oh, I thought I had this. I thought that my cousin was going to give me the money. I thought I had it. And then at the last minute, you don't. Don't wait. Don't wait. 388-9799. Please call someone at Wayne Metro, which is that number, and get some assistance, some financial assistance out front. If you're waiting for a cousin or a relative or a source from another area to help you with some finances, they can do that later. Right now, let's save your house. Let's keep you in it. That's what we should be doing. Then I want to say something about DTE, and callers, I'm coming right to you. DTE is a program where effective November the 1st through March 31st, if you're a senior, it's the senior program. So November, December, January, February, March, 5 months, seniors don't have to pay anything on a light and or gas bill, don't have to pay anything, and you will not be shut off right through March 31st. On April 1st, you're going to get a notice, and that notice is going to say, here's how much you owe before November 1st through November 1st, $1,000, $2,000, $1,200, whatever it is, and we want that money in the next 30 days. That's the notice you're going to get effective April the 1st. Don't do it. Don't do it. Make those payments, $25, $35, $50, something. Make those payments consistently throughout that 5-month period so you're not under the gun when April comes, because they're going to want your money. I'm already dealing with seniors, folks that are calling me at my job, asking for assistance because they made no payments. And then, of course, before November 1st, they had monies that were due. So don't do that. Don't do that. Make some kind of minimum payment so that when April comes, you'll have a little bit of a balance. And then the second thing you'll do is you'll make a application to the State Emergency Relief Group. State Emergency Relief, and we call that S for state, E for emergency, R for relief. If you're getting food stamps already, and if you're on Medicaid, you're categorically eligible. Get that application filled out. You can do it online if you know how, or you can go to the welfare office in your community. Get that state emergency relief application completed. And so once the welfare department approves it, then you're eligible for an amount of money that the welfare department will make available. And whatever's left over, if there's still a balance, now you can go to THAW, to the Salvation Army, St. Vincent de Paul, one of these other agencies or whatnot that will pay the balance. You have to do that. And I'm sorry if it's bothersome and worrisome. It's bothersome and worrisome to me. But that's what you have to do. Then the last thing I'm going to mention, which you can't see. A lot of us have been working in this fight to maintain water, to maintain access to water. You know the trouble we've been having in Detroit, in Flint, in Highland Park, in Pontiac. We've led the nation in terms of organizing to fight against water shutoffs. Well, we have scored a particular kind of a victory here. And that victory is this. Several of us for 4 or 5 years have been working with documentarian Kate Levy. And we have finally finished this documentary that's called Whose Water? WHOSE. Whose Water? All right. And that documentary is being premiered in Detroit at Wayne County Community College. I hope everybody that's listening, I hope you will join me and join us on that particular day, June 10th. That's on a Saturday. It's about 15 days from the day. And I hope that you will find a way to join us at the Wayne County Community College. Tickets are $7 in advance. If you wait and pay it when you get to the door, it's $10. We have to pay for this magnificent buffet that we're putting out. And we're talking about the Wayne County Community College Northwest Campus. A beautiful brand new banquet hall. It is so gorgeous. And that's where we're going to be June 10th. The sparkling, non-alcoholic apple cider display will be at every table. You have to call and reserve, right? And the fellowship and doors open at 4 o'clock. The film starts at 5, okay? And it's about 45 minutes. Then there's a intermission, and we've got some people that'll be talking about why this water fight is still critical. And then the last 40 to 45 minutes. So we'll start about 4. We'll be done with the meal and watching the movie and having some kind of conversation, all of that. And we'll be out about 7:30, 8 o'clock. We'll be done. And so folks can go home before it gets dark. Now, you have to, if you're online, you can go to www.whosewater, WHOSE, water, /film, FILM, /Detroit. Click on there. The trailer will come up. The registration information will come up. It says get tickets. Click on there. It says something else. It says continue. Click on there. You'll figure it out. If you want to send in a check or money order, I don't like checks because people send checks on accounts that are closed. But you want to send money order, something along those lines, call us down at Wealfare Rights, 313-964-0618. Call us down at Wealfare Rights and we'll give you the address and or post office box. And if you're completely unwilling to do any of that, but you want to come or you want to make a donation, just bring it down to Wealfare Rights at Central United Methodist Church. Call first. Call first. We're not finished with COVID. Call first to let someone know that you're coming, what day and what time, and they'll make the arrangements to be able to accept you and to welcome you when you get there. And you know the number to Welfare Rights is 313-964-0618. So, wanted to at least start the broadcast with at least those pieces of information. And we'll take this caller right quick. Caller, good morning, and you are on the air, caller. Thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights.
Grand Rising.
We can barely hear you.
Oh, Grand Rising.
Grand Rising caller, good morning to you.
How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm wonderful. I hope you are as well.
Yes, the situation, though, is that we're having, myself and a couple of neighbors, connection problem with WHPR, and we don't know what's going on. I can't get it on my laptop. I can't get it on my desktop or my phone.
Mr. Engineer, are you hearing this? All right, Mr. Engineer is already up and grabbing equipment. All of this, alrighty. Engineer says go to www.tv33whpr.com.
Okay, wait a minute.
You said try that. www.tv33whpr.com.
Okay, we'll try that.
All right, see if that'll work.
www dot. That's
www
www dot.
TV33
Uh-huh.
WHPR
Okay.
.com.
Okay. I'll try that when I'm talking to you.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, all right.
Yeah, let me please give the Highland Park news.
Okay, and the engineer just showed it to me. If you're on your phone or on the computer, if you go to that website, it does come up. So he just
All right.
tried it. All right,
All
so
right.
go ahead. Now tell us about Highland Park. What now?
Well, Highland Park, we always take it to another level, and I'm proud to say that as well, that the residents here are active in this water fight. We have a protest coming up June the 2nd here in Highland Park at Woodward and Manchester at 1 p.m. It's a water protest
Okay.
for what Gleam is trying to put on Highland Park. And you know who's been hiding in the darkness is Eagle. Actually, it started out with that program with the state that put this mandate on us to Gleam.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can't find them.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right.
Know how that works. Okay, all
Mm-hmm.
righty. So the
So June the
demonstration
2nd,
is June 2nd at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock here in Highland Park at Woodward in Manchester. Bring your signs, put on some comfortable shoes, because we're going to be out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and I know what's at stake. There are people, there are voices that are rising saying the
Yeah.
people in Highland Park are lazy and shiftless. You remember that phrase. And you all don't want to pay your water bills. You want somebody else to pay your water bill. And that is patently not true. Yeah. Understood, understood. So June 2nd, 1 o'clock at the Highland Park City Hall.
No,
Demonstrate
Woodward. I'm sorry, Woodward in Manchester.
Woodward in Manchester.
That's right there on the corner. You can see Glory Supermarket.
Okay, all right, Woodward and Manchester, 1 o'clock on the 2nd of June.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
We'll
I
be
hear it
out there
loud
at
and
Water
clear.
Protest. We'll be out there.
All righty, and
Maureen, I had to choose you not only as a sister, but a motivational speaker.
oh,
You are par excellence.
thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. All
Just
righty.
this Wednesday, Maureen Taylor was our motivational speaker for our Highland Park School District, the Board of Education. And we had 5 guests as well as board members and BOD members who are the board of directors. We had a great spread. Any kind of food you can think of was there. Everybody ate till they couldn't eat no more.
You well?
Plenty of plates to go. We had turkey. We had dressing. We had ribs. We had fried chicken.
Yes.
We had baked chicken.
Yes.
We had macaroni and cheese. We had greens. We had string beans. We had rolled muffins. We had peach cobbler.
It was delicious. Everything. All you
Yeah.
could do is to get a PhD license, pile it higher and deeper. That's all you could do because you couldn't go. You couldn't go left or right. You had to go north and just pile it up and just eat down. It was
Right. Eat down.
delicious.
Oh, and also the turkey. The turkeys were so big you had to put that on another plate.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah.
magnificent. My carry-out container. I was eating it on the way home. I was grabbing one of those ribs. And I got
Yeah.
the barbecue sauce all over my clothes and everything else. But it was delicious and a wonderful atmosphere.
Beautiful atmosphere.
Yes.
General Baker Institute on Livernois. It's right next to Uptown Barbecue if you ever want to stop by. It's an educational, motivational center.
Yes, historical place, so
Yes.
that the workers can learn what our history is. You know, organizers, pictures of organizers are on the wall. So it was absolutely appropriate for the retreat to
Yeah,
happen there so that folks can get a sense of their history, how we got to where we are today,
that's right.
and the direction that we're going in. So it was absolutely appropriate.
Yes, it was. And you spoke with the motivation and the energy and the history and the knowledge that we needed. You took us back how this water fight started
Yep.
all the way to where we are right now today.
I tried to do the best I could. I brought my
You
A game with me that day. Okay.
you brought you had a great motivational speech. I'm still getting phone calls right now.
Good. I'm glad.
Hmm.
I'm glad. All right. I was humbled by the invitation. So,
Oh, well, you're on my calendar for any time where I need a motivational speaker, um, just someone who's going to tell the real deal
okay.
without any fluff.
All righty.
I'm
That's what I
calling you.
try to bring. Okay. I'm
Hmm.
glad I was there.
Thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
again. Thank you.
All right,
You
Madam
know,
Grand
just last
Rising. Now, what
Saturday,
else is going on in Highland Park?
sure, just last Saturday, we had our Michigan Week parade again.
I
And it
heard
was
it
a
was great.
great turnout. You know, the Michigan Week Parade has been going on for at least 65, 70 years.
That's
And we are
fantastic.
still the only city remaining that celebrates the Michigan Week Parade.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But yet we can't pay our bills, right?
Yeah, I know.
Huh? But we know how to, we just know how to be active citizens. Oh, well, anyway.
Well, no, and I heard it was a great turnout, and people enjoyed themselves. So I was glad that that was a victory. I was glad to hear it.
Yes, it was.
Okay,
Yes, it was.
okay.
Yes, it was. That was one of the longest parades I haven't seen in quite a while. I mean, everybody was there.
Well, COVID has put a lot of things on hold,
Yeah.
so I know people were anxious to get out and get involved. So I was just really glad to hear that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm really glad to hear that. So yeah, yeah,
You can please tell
yeah.
the engineer I went to www.tv33whpr.com,
Yes.
and I keep getting this lightcast.com webpage.
Well,
It's a
the
streaming
engineer
provider.
just hang up and try it again. Engineer put it on his phone and it comes up.
I may have to come down to the station.
And get some one-on-one training, which
Yeah.
sometimes that's what happens. Try it again, and that's all we can tell you. www.tv33 no
Hmm.
break
Right.
whpr.com.
I'm
So
doing it
we
right now
live in
on
the
the
world
phone.
of technology here lately. Yeah, yeah.
I've got a friend on the phone. She's listening. She said it's happening to her too. The same thing. She's not able to put it on her laptop.
Well, my goodness, the engineer is listening, and he's trying to see if there's something he can do to tweak it. So,
Okay.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Now, Madam
Um.
Grand Rising, this is Friday. What's going on at the health department today?
Well, COVID. It's just look like set up permanent residence here
Yep,
in America and the world.
yep.
What we was hoping that would just be maybe
Temporary.
temporary. It involved real estate everywhere.
Yeah, I think so. In every zip code, it's not over yet.
No, it's not.
Yeah, yeah. So folks are still able to get around the corner and get some help. Thank you.
You can get your booster, your vaccine. That's Pfizer, Johnson and Johnson, Moderna. Your booster, your vaccine. You can even get a free checkup to see if you have COVID symptoms or not.
That's
It's here.
wonderful. Yeah, 'cause a lot of clinics are closing up. We
Yes,
still
they are.
holding on in Highland Park, so
Yes, we
people
are.
should take advantage of that. My engineer just gave me a backup number. You might try this one.
Okay, I'm writing it down.
313
313.
Watkins,
Okay.
WATKINS.com, and see if it'll come up
.com.
like that. 313
Uh-huh.
Watkins, WATKINS.com.
We'll do it.
Okay.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, now, Madam Grand Rising, anything else we need to know about this happening in Highland Park over the next couple of weeks?
Well, the water protest is one of the biggest situations
Got it?
that Highland Park need to be involved with. But, it's open to anyone.
Yes. Yes.
All are invited.
Well, I know that somebody in Highland Park bought a table at the upcoming Who's Water documentary screening.
Right.
And hopefully we'll have some folks from the Highland Park community at least one table, maybe two, so that folks can see that together this is how we get victory. We have to all be in the same fight. So I know that a table has been reserved for June 10th. And I hope some folks from Highland Park may want to come out Wayne County Community College, the Northwest Campus, Outer Drive in Southfield, and take a look at our victory based on our coalescing together. So that's very important that people show up. And I want Highland Park to feel comfortable and know that you're welcome and know that you're needed June 10th at this event.
Now, I went to 313watkins.com.
Yes.
And it's a GoDaddy site, 313watkins.com.
Well, I'm not the brightest bulb on the internet tree. So
Right.
Those are the two pieces of information that was shared with me. And anything above that, I got to call Navarre and, and tell him what's going on so he can fix it for me remotely. And I can't get him right now. So
Tell you what, if the creek don't rise and the Lord is willing, I'm riding with you to the station Friday.
all right. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like
Bring
a
my
plan.
laptop and get our fabulous engineer to get me back on.
Hey, one-on-one training is always a wonderful thing, okay?
Right.
All right, Madam Grand Rising. Once again, we've gotten information that's pertinent to the lives and loves of people that live in Highland Park.
That's right.
Again, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Next Friday,
right.
we'll be back. We got 2 more Fridays before we get to June 10th and the documentary being aired. Thank you very much for calling in and
Quite
sharing
welcome.
some details, okay?
Thank you very much for being just who you are, what you are, and what you give to the world.
Thank you very much, Madam Grand Rising.
All right.
All right, I'll be in touch with you soon.
Thank you.
All right now. All right, callers, 313-868-4336, 868-0351, or 868-0342. We're taking a trip down memory lane. Wanted to say something about the life and times of one of our welfare rights members, Joe Green. Now, Joe's gone from us now, but as we celebrate Memorial Day, one of our staples, Joe, has been for 20 years. And he passed away 2 years ago. But we never stopped thinking of Joe. We still have his desk at Wealfare Rights, waiting and to see if maybe one day he'll walk back up in there again. He was joined the United States Marine Corps, and he was a honorably discharged Marine, a Vietnam War veteran, and his specialty as a ongoing member in good standing and welfare rights was to recruit soldiers that were in trouble with a light bill, a gas bill, need some housing, need some counseling, and whatnot. He was the soldier's soldier. There are two of them that we just, oh boy, we'll never get over the loss. And one was Joe Green, and the other one was Tyrone Chapman. And certainly Tyrone Chapman was the president, the CEO over at the Michigan Veterans Foundation. And between those two brothers, over a period of 20 plus years, they served not only the community of men and women that were involved with armed services, they served the community as a whole. I'm thinking about Genevieve Perry, who also worked very hard. All three are gone now. Jenny Perry was a staple over at the Michigan Veterans Foundation, and she was one of the intake persons over at the Michigan Veterans Foundation that took in the work, soldier, sailor, whoever you were in the armed services, you came there, and those three at different locations would get your name, your address, your contact number, find out who your family members were, and then solve whatever you came to one of those three offices for. That would include Nate Thomas, who is still with us, also a Vietnam veteran, and just hard working folks. And want to shout out to them. Memory for our colleagues, our comrades who are gone now, but who were just so instrumental in helping members of the community beyond anything that anybody could figure. Just fearless and consistent. Ernestine Miller. Ernestine Miller, she's gone also now, was the first president of the Association of Black Social Work Students at Mary Grove College. Ernestine Miller, she was the first president. I was looking for another document and found this letter that Ernestine wrote to me on April the 22nd, 2003. So 20 years ago, Ernestine wrote this to me. And it says, "Hi, Maureen. Hope you're doing good, even with your busy and demanding schedule. My thoughts were on you on that Easter Sunday. So I decided to send you a copy of The Harbor, a narrative that I think you might like. I hope these words touch your heart as they did mine. Love, your sister, Ernestine Miller." And here's what she sent me. And again, you know, I've kept this all these years. And it's called The Harbor. No one lives long. Reluctantly, he walks down to a harbor to watch a ship sail off into the night. I say night, for it is the night of his soul as he watches the departing ship until it is only a tiny speck and then gone completely. On board that ship is someone near and dear crossing the lines into what we will call death. Maybe it's an infant son or a teenage daughter or a precious wife or a gallant husband. Perhaps it's a dear grandparent, mom or dad, a sister, brother. On the departing passenger could be just a close friend, a longtime neighbor, a childhood playmate. For everyone at some time, the ship will sail as it has done that night. At first, we say it isn't true, can't be, mustn't be. Then we tell ourselves it's just a bad dream. Or in desperation, we give up on life, saying that it's no longer worth living. Pain is too deep. The void is too fast. And again, pain is too deep. So we grieve and we wait. We hope and we wait. We pray and we wait. Day after day, we return to that harbor to peer through the mist, fooling ourselves into thinking that this ship might return, and with it all will be well. But it won't. The departing ship of death will never, never, never come back into this life as we know it. However, there is a busy harbor and other ships continue to arrive daily on the wharf next door. On board are persons who, in some measure, can feel our painful loneliness. They come to us by way of births, by way of adoptions, by way of marriages, and new friendships, new comradeships, children who grow up, and youth who reach maturity. There's something strange about this harbor. If we insist on looking for ships that departed yesterday, we are mysteriously blinded to the incoming ships of tomorrow at the wharf right next door. Never can we see both at the same time. Only as we focus on what remains rather than what is lost can we hear the bells and the horns of the incoming ships and see, pressed against the guardrails, the hopeful faces of those about to enter our lives. What we see is the difference in day and night, the difference in fantasy and reality. Reality may be a rougher road, but escape is a precipice. The unreal make believe, say it isn't so world leaves us blind, in pain, and alone. But open hearts, able to accept new situations, enables us to peer beyond our tears and see the harbor of life, filled with at least good days that we cannot number, if it not our best days. And the author is unknown. I thought about this, and I thought I'm going to read this when I get to the station today, because what it says is like, despite the tears in my eyes. And I think about Joe, and I think about my colleagues and my friends, especially those that we've lost in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years in this water fight. Charity Hicks, Lila Cabell. Think about William X. Boy, that William X had all kind of energy. Vanessa Johnson. Certainly the great and the late General Baker, as we are in the month of his passing. And think about some of these folks that we have lost that Ernestine says got on that ship and went away, and we watched until it turned into a speck and then it disappeared. And while we were focused on the ships that were leaving, we didn't get a chance to pay attention to these other ships on the other side that were coming in and bringing new babies, like my new grandbaby, bringing new friends, like these seniors that have graduated from my school over the last 2, 3, 4 years. I invited them to attend the screening on June 10th, and every one of them said, Miss Taylor, I'll be there with my family. Coming into the harbor, ready to take over the struggle for social justice. And, you know, my Aunt Honey, 7/7/2020, left us at 99 years of age, and I'm still hurting, looking at those ships that are going that way, and then finally turn around because we heard some, what's that noise? And here comes other ships coming into the harbor bringing new faces. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to read this and make certain that people know, even though Ernestine, first president, Association of Black Social Work Students at Marygrove College, sent me this message, wrote it out for me, and then typed up the harbor, the poem, the narrative, in 2003. She was a Highland Parker, lived at the 14,000 block of 2nd, and in apartment 513. I might play that number today. I'll never play the lottery, but I might play that lottery number today, 513, because I remembered this, and I remembered my buddy Ernestine. She was the first president of the Association of Black Social Work Students, and I was the second. So, shout out to Ernestine. Now, got a few other things by way of humor. And this says, you know that you at one time lived in Detroit, at least for some time, a long time ago, if you remember some of these things. 868 0342, 868 0351, 868 4336. If you remember these issues, you know what it means if someone tells you to hit 8 Mile Road. You lived in Detroit any period of time, you know what that phrase meant. You know what it means when somebody says these letters, HMFIC. The last two letters stand for in charge. HMFIC. You know what that means. You're a native Detroiter in this metro area. If as a child you thought that one day the big tire on I-94 one day is just going to break away from its moorings and roll away. I thought that for years. That tire one day with a storm or wind is going to just get broken and it'll be rolling down I-94. You had to know what I'm talking about if you had that same memory. If you've been in Detroit for a long time, you got excited when you heard these two words, Boblo, Edgewater Park. All right, Boblo or Edgewater Park. If you've been a Detroiter for a period of time, you know what those two places were. You are a longtime Detroiter or metropolitan area person, Wayne County. If you rode a horse or got in a horse-drawn carriage, where? At Belle Isle. You remember that. If you have ever shopped at a place called Hughes and Hatcher, Mr. Engineer, you remember Hughes and Hatcher? He got his hand raised. He remember. Hughes and Hatcher. B. Seagulls, Peck and Peck, Himmerholz. I've told this story before. Himmerholz was right there on Woodward Avenue. It was the first place I bought my first man-made fur coat. And it was black and white. It had a big stripe here and a big stripe here. Man-made fur. I bought that bad boy on Himmerholz, went in there and put it on time payments. I think it was $5 a month. It took me 5 or 6 months to get it out. But when I put it on, you couldn't talk to me. Oh, Lord. Himmerholz, Federals. I loved Federals. I thought Federals was the best thing on earth. Or Berlin's. I don't remember Berlin's. So I don't know. Maybe somebody who knows what Berlin's was. I don't remember that one. You remember when Northland was not an enclosed mall. You know, the recent years before they snatched Northland away from us, it was outside and the stores were separate and you had to walk from store to store if you wanted to go there. Of course, Northland was the first major mall in this country, right there where it is today in the ruins. And man, they on Saturdays, especially during holidays like Christmas and New Year's and Easter, Memorial Day, all those kinds of things, you walk in Hudson's and go out the back door and go into 4 or 5 other stores. And I'm not talking about downtown Hudson's. I'm talking about the one at Northland off of 8 Mile Road. And you could spend all day at Northland going to the food court. They didn't call it food court then. Going to the restaurants. You could get your hair done at Northland. You could bring clothes and get them adjusted because the pants were too long. Or you didn't gain some weight and we need a little extra girth in that dress that you bought. All of those services were at Northland. If you've been in Detroit any length of time, you will remember that. You been in Detroit a long time if you remember 2 mayors. If you remember 2 mayors, we all remember one, the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young. You might remember a second one, and a lot of people still remember there was a mayor here called Dennis Archer. You may not remember too many more of them, but if you've been in Detroit any length of time, you do remember that, and you remember who Cobalt was, who now they've replaced the name and calling it Huntington. You remember that racist son of a gun, and it was called Cobo Hall. And when Cobo Hall first got built and all of the activities that were going on there, if you've been in Detroit for a period of time, you remember two mayors at least and who Cobo was. If you've been in Detroit any period of time, you remember right there at 7 Mile and Livernois and throughout the community, there was a clothing store called Winkleman's. Winkleman's used to give out little credit cards, and I think you could only charge maybe $18 on it. I got one, and I think you could only use it for a little bit of money. But Winkleman's were all over the place, and there were dress shops in the community where we lived. If you've been in Detroit in any length of time, starting in the 60s and the 70s, and maybe even before that, you will remember Winkleman's. If you thought driving to Southfield 30 years ago was going out of the country, I might have thought the same thing. We're going to Southfield. Where is that? A long way away. That's what was in our minds because we didn't have to go outside of Detroit. We didn't have to go outside Wayne County. Everything we needed to live was right here inside of Wayne County. Detroit, Highland Park, Hamtramck, festivals downtown, Greek festivals, Middle Eastern festivals, Hispanic festivals down on the waterfront. And every ethnic group, every nationality had a week. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it was this group. Next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it was that group. And we were all welcome. There were no shootings. There were no knifings, at least none that I heard about. The places were packed. The last of the riverfront festivals was always the All African World Festival. And they used to pass out a flyer to say all nations originated with Lucy in Africa. So everybody came to everything. Authentic Hispanic food, authentic Mediterranean foods coming out of the Middle East, authentic Polish foods. I remember the Polish festivals and kielbasa and quiche and spinach pies. All of that was available. Every ethnic group went to the festivals downtown, big time stuff. And on Sundays, when that was the last day, wherever the clothing was or the headgear, shoes, whatever things were being sold, everything was slashed at half price because that was the last day. So the vendors sold everything, concerts down there, all kinds of wonderful things. If you've been in Detroit for a while, you remember that. Now, if you know what these letters stand for, DDD, DDD, all righty, I'll tell you. DDD days were downtown Detroit days. This is where Hudson's, Crowley's, Kresge's, Hughes Hatcher, whatever stores they were up and down Woodward, it didn't go as far as Jefferson, I've forgotten, maybe Kennedy Square, another phrase, and back north. All of the stores had their wares and whatnot outside or right in at the front door because everybody came to downtown Detroit days. There was always a guy there that says, I'm going to play this tune on my guitar, and I'll give you $5 if you name the tune. And I would go there because I know these tunes, and they would play something by Rachmaninoff, and it would be a little kid standing next to me, and I'd put my hand over my mouth, concerto in B flat minor, and I'd tell the kid who's screaming out, and they get $5. Then the next thing they would play would be something else. I knew what that was. I'd put paper over my mouth and tell another kid, and they would scream it out, and they would get the $5. Thank you very much. All right, we did all of that, and there were so many people during DDD days on Woodward, on John R., on Cass, going up and down. We had a big boy that was, I think it was on Grand River. I can't remember. Between Woodward and Cass. It was west of Woodward. And the line would be out the door during DDD days. But that's what that was. It was a activity involved in merchants bringing out their wares, shoes, the whole 9 yards. That's what DDD stands for. Um, if you've been in Detroit for any significant period of time, you might remember when Wayne State consisted of one building. I remember that. And that's the building that's on Cass and Forest. And it is since morphed into into mutual buildings. But Wayne State University used to be that one place. And I remember that. You've been in Detroit. Tim, this one is for you. If you remember the Twin Pines Dairy, and it delivered milk and juice and brought those things to your front porch on the side of your house. If you've been here a little while, you remember Twin Pines. I used to drink the Twin Pines milk was in a glass container. And I would go to the refrigerator and I'm playing outside, playing alley baseball, run in the house, open the refrigerator, grab that, take you about 10 gulps of milk, you got brain freeze, put it back, close the refrigerator. My mother would be going, "Who's that? I'm going back out to play." Go outside and slam the door. Twin Pines, best butter, cottage cheese, Lord have mercy. Uh, you remember things if you went roller skating. Now, the only roller skating rink I remember the one on Woodward, and I've forgotten the name of it now because we couldn't go there. My sister and I was too little. But I used to go to Mr. Kelly's roller rink on, might have been on Mac, I think it was. It was on the east side. I was living on the east side then. And Mr. Kelly's had a bar on the first floor. And if you go upstairs, that's where the skating roller rink was. It was a wooden floor. I had wooden skates with wooden wheels. I don't mean wooden skates, but I had skates with wooden wheels. And I would get my clothes on. My father would take me. And once he drove away, I'd roll up my skirt, put my knees out so I had some stockings that people could see. And I was waiting for the music to come on that said function at the junction. I could skate. So if you've been around for a while, you will remember the fantastic skating activities, at least at Mr. Kelly's. Oh, Arcadia. That's what the other one was. My cousin Arnold Matthews, gone to, was a floor guard. He was one of the head floor guards at the Arcadia up on Woodward. And he would come by the house and beg my mother, "Please let him go. Please let him go, cousin." And me and my sister, "Mama, let us go, please, please, please." And we go and we put on our skates, but Arnold would say, "You can't go out there because your most experienced skaters are out here on this rink and you'll get run over and your mama won't let you go with me no more." And boy, I would be watching some of the most beautiful skaters skating in couples, skating in trios, four quads going around those corners, skating backwards. They were just some of the most beautiful athletes I'd ever seen. But that was at the Arcadia. You remember that. Couple more. Okay, if you've been around Detroit for a while, you will remember the Olympia Stadium. I remember the Olympia Stadium. I can't think of who it was, who was connected to that in my head, but I remember the Olympia Stadium, and it was sports, and then they started having entertainment activities in the evening. You are a native Detroiter if you thought the Grand Circus Park Theater was one of the most beautiful and grandest places you've ever seen. We had the Grand River Theater. Okay, we had, thank you, Grand River Theater. We had the Adams. We had the Madison. We had the Fox, and it was one more. I can't remember what that fifth one was. But at the Grand Circus Theater, that's what it was called, you couldn't take your popcorn and your food and your drinks in there because they didn't want that stuff on the floor. and it was so beautiful, a movie house. Just gorgeous, just gorgeous. We're down to our last few. You're a native Detroiter if you sometimes wonder what happened to Jimmy Hoffa. What I remember is that he was at a place called the Marcus Fox. And something happened when he left the Marcus Fox restaurant, and we never saw him again. I don't know why I still remember that restaurant, but he was there. And I always wondered, gee, what in the world ever happened to that man? You're a native Detroiter if you drank Town Club Pop. That's making a comeback. Can't find the lemon lime one. And what's the other one? The grape one was just so good. But Town Club Pop and Burners. If you remember Burners and the little troll, the picture, the little midget was on the bottle, you're a native Detroiter. You know what agency I mean when I say something about the Big Four. If I say the Big Four, if you're a native Detroiter, you know who I'm talking about. And then I'll read this last one. You remember the song, You Have an Uncle in the Furniture Business, Joshua Dorr. Not this new folk they got today, but the original song was about Joshua Dorr. Do you remember who Bill Kennedy was? Bill Kennedy. All right, we are heading out. We have reached the top of the hour just about. And I want to say for those that watch, we're going to try to repeat this. Don't forget, call down to Welfare Rights so you can get your tickets. And we're running out of space for the June 10th documentary, Whose Water? Or you can go to www.whoswater/film/Detroit. Click on there and follow the instructions. My name is Maureen Taylor. I work with Michigan Welfare Rights. Any additional information you need, please call us at Welfare Rights 313-964-0618. Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I will be back next Friday. Bye.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its third year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.